Picture this. A man soaring through the sky in a fighter jet, hanging off the side of a skyscraper, running through explosions with that signature grin. Tom Cruise, the guy who's been Hollywood's biggest star for over 40 years. He's the hero of Top Gun, the unstoppable spy in Mission Impossible, the heart of Jerry Maguire. His movies have made billions. His stunts have left us speechless, and his smile? It's lit up screens since the 80s, but behind all that shine, there's a story that breaks your heart. At 63, Tom Cruise isn't just fighting bad guys on screen. He's carrying scars from a life full of pain, lost love, and a daughter he barely sees. The cameras don't catch the quiet moments when he's alone, wondering if he'll ever find peace. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Tom Cruise. Not the legend, but the man. What's he been through? Why does his story hurt so much? Stick with me, because this is a tale of dreams, heartbreak, and a fight that's way tougher than any movie stunt. Let's start at the beginning, long before the red carpets and flashing lights. Tom Cruise was born on July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York, into a world that wasn't kind. His family didn't have much money. Some days there wasn't enough food for dinner, just popcorn or old bread. His dad wasn't a hero like in the movies. Tom once called him a bully, someone who scared him and his three sisters. His mom, Mary Lee, worked hard to keep them fed, taking any job she could find. Little Tom would see her crying at the kitchen table, tired and worried, and it broke his heart. He wanted to help, to make things better, but he was just a kid. When his parents split up, his mom took him and his sisters to start over. They moved around a lot, 15 different schools by the time Tom was 18. New faces, new places, always starting over. It was like his life was a puzzle with pieces that never fit together. Yes. School wasn't easy either. Tom had dyslexia, which made reading and writing really hard. Words on a page looked like a jumbled mess. Teachers thought he was lazy. Kids laughed when he stumbled over sentences. He felt dumb, like he was letting his mom down. That hurt stayed with him, a heavy weight he carried inside. At 14, he thought maybe he could find peace in a different way. He joined a Catholic school to become a priest, hoping it would feel safe, like a home that wouldn't break. But that didn't last. Some say his family moved again. Others whisper he got in trouble for taking a bottle of liquor. Whatever happened, that door closed, and it hurt because he'd hoped it would be his escape. But Tom didn't give up. All that pain, the hunger, the teasing, the moving, made him tough. He learned to fight for what he wanted. He figured out tricks to deal with dyslexia, like coloring his study notes or recording himself saying lines over and over until they stuck. What made him feel small became his strength. That kid who felt like he didn't belong, he was learning how to survive, how to keep going no matter what. And that fire inside him, it was about to light up the world. In 1980, 18-year-old Tom hopped on a bus to New York City with just $500 and a dream. He carried a beat-up suitcase and a heart full of hope. The city was huge, loud, scary. He worked odd jobs, cleaning restaurant floors, carrying bags for strangers, smiling for tiny tips. At night, he ran to auditions, sleeping in tiny rooms he could barely afford. But he kept telling himself, if I get one shot, I'll make it count. That shot came in 1981 with a tiny role in a movie called Endless Love. It was small, but Tom poured everything into it. People noticed. Then came Taps, where he was supposed to be just a background kid, but he acted with so much heart that the director gave him a bigger part. Hollywood started whispering his name. By 1983, everything changed. Risky Business hit theaters, and Tom, playing a teenager named Joel, danced in his underwear to old-time rock and roll. It was a few seconds of pure magic. Funny, cool, unforgettable. Overnight, he wasn't just a kid anymore. He was a star. But even then, the old battles didn't stop. Dyslexia made every script a fight. He'd spend hours pacing, repeating lines, turning words into memory. What looked easy on screen was hard work behind it. Acting wasn't just a job for Tom. It was how he proved he wasn't the dumb kid from school. It was his way of saying, "I'm here and I'm not going anywhere." Top Gun in 1986 made him a superstar. As Maverick, the cocky pilot, he flew into America's heart. The movie was huge. People bought aviator sunglasses, joined the Navy, cheered his name. But Tom didn't want to be just a cool guy on a poster. He wanted respect, so he took on tough roles. In The Color of Money, he held his own against Paul Newman, a legend. In Rain Man, he played a brother to Dustin Hoffman's character, quiet but strong, making the movie work. Then came Born on the 4th of July. Tom played Ron Kovic, a soldier who came home paralyzed, angry, broken. He trained in a wheelchair for months, feeling the pain of a man whose life had fallen apart. On screen, he cried, screamed, showed a side of himself no one expected. It wasn't just acting, it was raw, real, brave. He got an Oscar nomination and people said, he was more than a smile. He was an actor who'd risk everything for a story. The 90s were his golden years. A Few Good Men had him facing off with Jack Nicholson in a courtroom scene everyone remembers, "You can't handle the truth." Interview with the Vampire? Some said he couldn't play a creepy vampire, but he proved them wrong, so much that the writer who doubted him apologized in a big newspaper ad. Then came Mission Impossible and Jerry Maguire. One made him a spy who did his own crazy stunts, hanging from ceilings, running from explosions. The other showed a softer side, a guy chasing love and meaning, shouting, "Show me the money!" Both were hits. Tom wasn't just acting, he was building movies, producing them, making sure they were perfect. He won awards, made billions, became a legend. But every win came with a price. Bruises from stunts, long nights away from home, and a heart that kept searching for something more. See, while Tom was conquering Hollywood, his personal life was a different story. He wanted a family, a home that wouldn't break like his childhood one did. In 1987, he married Mimi Rogers, an actress older than him, someone who seemed steady, smart. She introduced him to Scientology, a belief system that gave him structure, something to hold on to after a life of chaos. But their marriage didn't last. They were too different. She was calm. He was a fireball. By 1990, they split, quiet and simple. No big fights, just a sad goodbye. But Scientology stayed with him, shaping how he saw the world, how he made choices. It was a big part of his life, for better or worse. Then came Nicole Kidman. They met on the set of Days of Thunder in 1990, and it was like the world stopped. She was tall, beautiful, with a laugh that made everything lighter. They got married that same year, promising forever. They adopted 2 kids, Isabella and Connor, and for a while it felt like the home Tom always wanted. They'd eat takeout, read scripts together, laugh over silly things. But life wasn't perfect. Nicole had an ectopic pregnancy, a painful loss where the baby couldn't grow. They hoped again, got pregnant, but lost that baby too. It was like a storm hit their house. Nicole grieved quietly. Tom threw himself into work. They drifted, not because they stopped loving each other, but because pain pulls people in different ways. Scientology didn't help. It was a big part of Tom's life, but Nicole didn't feel the same. By 2001, their marriage was over. Nicole was heartbroken, saying later it took years to heal. Tom felt like he'd failed at the one thing he swore he'd get right, a family that stayed together. The kids stayed with him. But losing Nicole left a hole that fame couldn't fill. He tried again with Penelope Cruz, his co-star in Vanilla Sky. She was warm, funny, a light in his dark days. They dated for 3 years, walking hand in hand, sharing quiet moments. But again, Scientology was a wall. Penelope respected it but couldn't live it. By 2004, they parted ways, not angry, just sad. Tom was learning that love wasn't enough to keep people close, not when beliefs and lives didn't line up. Then came Katie Holmes. In 2005, Tom was so in love he jumped on Oprah's couch, shouting, "I'm so happy." It was wild, real, and the world laughed. Some with him, some at him. They married in 2006 in a fairy tale Italian castle, had a daughter, Suri, and it felt like Tom's dream was finally here. Suri was his joy, a tiny girl he carried everywhere, whispering promises of a big future. But the fairy tale didn't last. Katie felt trapped in Tom's huge world, cameras everywhere, his beliefs shaping their life. In 2012, she left, quietly, carefully, taking Suri with her. Tom was shocked, saying, "I didn't see it coming." He paid support, saw Suri when he could, but over time, distance grew. By 2024, when Suri chose to use her mom's last name, it was like a knife in his heart. The girl he'd loved so fiercely was building a life without him. That loss, more than any other, cut deep. The public fights didn't help. In 2005, Tom spoke out against medicine for mental health, criticizing actress Brooke Shields for using it after her baby was born. People got mad. Brooke needed help, not judgment. Then he argued with a TV host, Matt Lauer, about the same thing. His words sounded harsh, like he didn't care about others' struggles. That couch moment? It turned into jokes, memes, a punchline. Studios noticed. Paramount, who'd worked with him for years, cut ties, saying he was too much. Even on movie sets, some actors said Tom was intense, hard to work with. The Mummy in 2017 flopped, and critics blamed him for taking too much control. For the first time, Tom, the guy who always won, was slipping. But the real pain wasn't headlines. It was his body. Tom did his own stunts, always had. In Mission, impossible. Fallout, he broke his ankle jumping between buildings but kept filming, gritting his teeth. His shoulder, ribs, knees, they've all taken hits over the years. For Rogue Nation, he held his breath underwater for 6 minutes, nearly passing out. On Burj Khalifa, his hands bled climbing the world's tallest building. Every stunt left a mark. Scars, aches, nights with ice packs. He once said, "Pain fades, but film lasts." That's Tom, pushing through hurt to give us moments we'll never forget. Now, at 63, Tom's life looks perfect from the outside. He's got millions, a mansion in Beverly Hills with a pool and tennis courts, homes in Colorado and New York, fast cars like a Bugatti that screams power. But money can't buy what he's lost. His houses are quiet, no kids running around, no family dinners. His body's still strong, but old injuries whisper when he moves. And Suri? She's 19 now, living with Katie, calling herself Suri Holmes. Tom sees her in photos, not in person. He once said, "I can climb towers, but I can't climb the wall between me and my daughter." That's the real tragedy. Not the broken bones, but the broken bonds. There's talk of new love, maybe with Ana de Armas, another actress who gets what it's like to live in the spotlight. They've been seen laughing, looking happy. But Tom's careful now. He knows love can break as fast as it blooms. His truest love might be his work, the movies, the stunts, the fans who still cheer. He keeps going, not because he's fearless, but because stopping hurts more. Every film is a fight to prove he's still here, still Tom Cruise. His story isn't just about fame. It's about a boy who fought hunger, shame, and loss to become a legend. But legends feel pain, too. He's won Oscars, made billions, but he's also lost love, family, and pieces of himself. Every leap on screen is a leap over his own scars. He's not perfect. He's made mistakes, hurt people, faced criticism. But he keeps rising, not because he's unbreakable, but because he knows how to stand up after a fall. Tom Cruise's life shows us something big. Greatness isn't just winning. It's carrying your hurts, owning your wrongs, and still chasing what matters. He's given us so much. Movies that thrill, moments that stay with us. But he's paid a price in lonely nights, quiet regrets, and a daughter's distance. His story asks us to think, what's worth fighting for? What do we hold on to when the lights go out? If Tom's courage, his pain, or his movies have ever touched you, hit that like button. It helps share his story. Drop a comment with your favorite Tom Cruise moment or a time you kept going through hurt. Share this with someone who loves his films or needs a reminder to keep fighting. And subscribe. Turn on notifications because we're diving into more stories of real people, real struggles, real triumphs. What do you think? Can Tom find peace? Let's talk below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.